Shields up, Iron Breakers. Rurikhan here coming at you with another video. It is day 3 of the E3 Frenzy, and I'm currently playing catch-up. We just did the video for the EA press conference, and I'm currently going to be working on the video for the Microsoft press conference, where I will tell you all of the announcements that were made in that video and my opinion in regards to those announcements. Now, it is important to mention that I'm also live streaming all of these conferences live over on twitch.tv/Rurikhan, so you guys can go over there and hang out with the rest of the Iron Breaker community, where we can all experience these press conferences live, and you can see my fresh reactions to them, as well as just have a conversation without being in a chat room that is basically filled to the brim and you can't really follow any conversations on there. So let's get started with the Microsoft press conference now that my shameless plug is over. And the Microsoft press conference was, in my opinion, mostly positive. There's a couple of negative things that I want to go over, things that I consider to be negative. And it's important to mention that I do play most of my video games on a PlayStation system, so therefore I know that a lot of people are going to be like, oh my god, it's console wars and it's us versus them and Rurikhan just wants Microsoft to fail. And let me tell you right now, I don't look at these things like that at all. In my opinion, I want Microsoft to do as best as it possibly can, because that only means that Sony feels the need to one-up them, and you know, you get this kind of back and forth, which essentially competition breeds innovation. So the better all of these companies do, the better it is for gaming as a whole. At least in my personal opinion, that's the way that I choose to look at these things. So don't think that I'm coming into this wishing that Microsoft would lose. It is the exact opposite. I'm coming into this hoping that Microsoft would convince me to actually go out and buy an Xbox One X, but I honestly can't afford it right now anyways. So yeah, but anyway, let's get into it. So I'm going to be going over all of the announcements that they've made, but before I get into the press conference itself, I want to touch up on something that Phil Spencer said at the very end, which is a little bit concerning for anyone that has, at least I think it should be concerning for anyone that has invested on an Xbox One X. Because I mean, Xbox One X was released last year, right? So people bought their Xbox One X, everybody's excited about it. Yay, cool stuff. Xbox One X, most powerful console ever. And this year, Phil Spencer's like, our engineers are hard at work on the next Xbox. It's like, what? People just bought your latest box, considering how much you fumbled the original Xbox. Let's not mince words here. The original Xbox completely fumbled. Xbox One S was nice that it was an upgrade, but again, it's another box. And then on top of that, you capitalized by throwing even another one at it with the Xbox One X. You got 3 boxes out in the market right now. And it's like, okay, you got 3 boxes and you want to tell your audience, oh, we're working on the next one. It's like, look, I get it. You're not going to be announcing it for a couple of years, most likely, at least I hope so. But still, just to even tell people that just invested a whole bunch of money onto your system, and you're basically going to tell them, oh yeah, we're already working on the next one. It's like, it's not bringing a whole lot of confidence. At least that's the way that I look at it. Let me know if your opinion is different. I'm very curious to hear, especially if you're someone that is invested in the Xbox ecosystem. I want to know your opinion on the comment section down below, so let me know. But to me, that was something that it was kind of like, well, I mean, if I was on the fence for buying an Xbox One X, now I might be wondering, well, why don't I just wait for the next one? I don't know. Either way, there's a lot of positive things to talk about. I just want to touch up on that very briefly. So the very first thing that I want to talk about is actually the Halo that they've shown at the very start of the press conference, because I thought that was a little bit weird. I'm looking over here to the left to all of my notes on the, not my notes, all of the Microsoft notes on all the things that they've announced, and I wanted to get to the Halo one. But they showed Halo Infinite. And here's the big problem with this. For starters, that is not a trailer. That is a teaser, what they've shown. So it's just like supposed to tease you and show you a little bit of Halo. But it's like, what is Halo Infinite? I mean, it's all fine and dandy to get me hyped up for a video game, but you have to at the very least tell me what it is. The way that they have that subtitle, Halo Infinite, it makes me almost believe this is an MMO type thing? Is it going to be like a Destiny type thing, but with the Halo franchise? I don't know. There's really no explanation whatsoever as to what this is. Here's their description. Master Chief returns on the next chapter of the legendary franchise in Halo Infinite, developed by 343 Industries, created with the studio's new Slip Space engine. Halo Infinite debuted at the Xbox E3 2018 briefing with a thrilling engine demo. Thrilling engine demo? Not necessarily what I called what I saw at that press conference, a thrilling engine demo, leading the franchise into new and unexpected direction. Glimpse into the future of Halo. It's like, didn't really say much. Like, I get it. People that are really invested in Xbox One, maybe guys see that and you're like, oh, fuck yeah, Halo Infinite. But like, why? That's the part that I don't understand. I don't know what it is. I didn't think that the footage was particularly impressive. It's like, here's the thing. I want to get excited about that game, but I just can't. And I'm curious to know what you guys think about it. Because again, I'm not super invested in the Xbox ecosystem, but I'm very interested in hearing from the people that are. Because let's have a discussion. Let's have a civil discussion. Like, I'm not excited. I'm curious for sure, but I want to know what excited you about what was shown in that particular trailer. Let me know, once again. Now, let's get into the rest of the presentation. This is not going to go in the same order because they have the notes over here on a different order, but I will tell you what I think about all the things. So the very first thing is they're investing in development of original content. So they're bringing in a couple of more studios into the Microsoft Studios fold, as well as they're creating a new studio, which is called The Initiative. And basically, this particular portion of the presentation, it sounded to me as something like, look, we don't have a whole lot to show you guys right now. So therefore, we just want you guys to know that we are working on things. We are working on getting talent to build these experiences for you, but we don't really have a whole lot to show. That's kind of like the vibe that I got for a lot of that presentation. And again, please understand, I'm not saying this in a negative way. It's just factually what happened, okay? So let's talk about, we got The Initiative coming up, which is a new studio that they're forming, and I wish them all the best. I hope they come up with some really cool video game ideas. I'm very curious to see what they come up with. Then they've added Playground Games to their fold of studios, which in the grand scheme of things, it doesn't really mean much because, I mean, these are the people that work on Forza and Forza Horizons. So it's like you're kind of already in the fold. It's just they're just making it official because Forza only really comes out on Xbox and PC under the Xbox Store. So therefore, or the Windows Store, whatever you want to call it, the Microsoft Store. So it's like that's not a major change. Playground Games joining them, it's just like that they've been basically on this relationship for some time, and Microsoft finally did the honorable thing and proposed them to marry them. So Playground Games joined them. But then the next one, that one hit me deep, which is they brought Ninja Theory into the fold. That is a major win for Microsoft, but at the same time, I kind of feel like the industry loses a little bit as a whole. Let me explain why. So Ninja Theory were the people that worked on Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice. They were basically sticking it up to the big AAA developers and telling them, look, this is what we did on a proper budget. We made this friggin' fantastic video game. We sold it for $40. It made profit. It was in 6 months or something. Basically, they were challenging the big AAA corporations to be better. They were showing that indie development could be friggin' fantastic. Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice. I love that game. I think the game is awesome. I think what they've done with that business model was amazing. And I was super excited to see what they came up with next to once again show the AAA industry this, like, you don't need these crazy monetization schemes. And then Microsoft is just like, nope, we're gonna whoop. So I think that Ninja Theory is going to get a lot of backlash. Like, I'm not really upset. I'm a little bit sad with the fact that they're basically exclusive to Microsoft now. Like, I think this is going to be great for them because they're going to get more capital. They're going to be able to develop great games. And I think it's going to be great for anyone that is invested in the Xbox ecosystem. I think that's going to be awesome for them that Ninja Theory is now a part of Microsoft Studios because, you know, Microsoft Studios are going to collaborate. They're going to get ideas. So everyone in the Microsoft fold is going to benefit from having Ninja Theory there. But ultimately, everybody else is not. So like everyone that's invested on Nintendo Switch, probably never going to see a Ninja Game Theory there again. everyone involved in PS4. Probably never see a Ninja Theory game there again. But PC players and Xbox One players, I think that we're going to see something really fantastic, because if basically Microsoft throws money at Ninja Theory and be like, go ahead, do whatever the fuck you want, I think Ninja Theory is going to come up with some very interesting games. And that is one of the major winning points for this particular presentation. Again, I wish it wasn't about winning or losing, but if it was, then Microsoft scored major points by bringing Ninja Theory into the fold. Then Undead Labs, they brought those into the fold as well for Microsoft Studios. These are the people behind State of Decay as well as State of Decay 2. This also feels like a situation kind of like Playground Games. It's them just being like, oh, we've been on this relationship for a while now. Here's a ring, and now we're married, basically. So Undead Labs brought into the fold. Then we got Compulsion Games, which is also being brought into the fold of Microsoft Studios. These are the people behind We Happy Few. Now, this is not a game that interests me all that much, so I'm not going to be talking all that much about it. But for anyone interested in We Happy Few, I think We Happy Few is still going to come out for other platforms. Maybe it will be like timed exclusive on Xbox now. I don't know. I don't remember that particular part because, again, not super interested in We Happy Few. It's just not my kind of game. But for anyone that is, and anyone that is on the Xbox, good news for you. Overall, I think it's really good that Microsoft is saying, oh, look, we're bringing all of these studios in. We're going to be bringing back first-party development in a big way so that they're not as dependent on third-party, because first-party is what gets people to buy a console versus another console. Now, I understand some people have some very specific feelings about exclusives. My personal take on exclusives is I wish everyone could play everything on every platform. Unfortunately, that is way too utopic. That is not the world that we live in. And that is, a major selling point of consoles is the exclusives that they're able to get. And with this lineup of studios, I think that Microsoft might be setting up for having a really good E3 2020 presentation, because all of this stuff is going to take time before it actually comes into fruition. It's not like they got all these studios and now in E3 2019, they're going to be revealing all these new games these studios are working on. I don't think that would make sense. So I think this is Microsoft playing the long game. Like the fruits of the labor that Microsoft has laid down here, you're going to start seeing them, I think, in 2020. Could be wrong, could be right. Either way, that's the way that I feel about it. Now, a big portion of the presentation was dedicated to the Xbox Game Pass, which I've been thinking a lot about it, and it makes a lot of sense. Because here's the thing, right? At the start of this generation, Sony pretty much pummeled Xbox into submission by doing everything right that Xbox was doing wrong. And again, I'm not taking sides. I'm just stating facts here. If you disagree, feel free to express it in the comments. But look, these are facts. Xbox One did not do well at the start of this generation. As a matter of fact, Xbox One is still not doing all that well now. They're doing a lot of right steps, but they're missing those exclusives that people are asking for, right? But the Xbox Game Pass is a very interesting value proposition because, again, since the Xbox didn't do so well in the start, not a whole lot of people bought Xbox Ones. Therefore, not a whole lot of people have been buying Xbox One games. Therefore, if you want to buy something like an Xbox One X, you're like, oh, shoot, all of the games that I have on my other platforms, now I have to rebuy them if I want to play them there. That's annoying. With this, about $10 a month or whatever the price is, you're going to have access to a large library of games. It's a good value proposition, and they're constantly adding games on top of it. And they're pretty much adding day and date the games that are getting released on the Microsoft platforms. They are being added to Xbox Game Pass for the most part. So again, it is a massive value proposition, specifically for people that are on a budget. And I know it sounds weird. It's like, so someone's on a budget and you're telling them to go buy the most powerful, most expensive console of all. If you're planning on getting the Xbox Game Pass, yes, because in the long run, it's going to be much cheaper because you're going to have access to a whole bunch of games. So it is definitely an interesting service. I haven't talked that much about Xbox Game Pass before, but it is massive value, particularly because a lot of these games are getting remastered to 4K textures. Like you got Red Dead Redemption running on 4K, I think it's 60 FPS on the Xbox One X through Xbox Game Pass. That's friggin' huge, even though I'm not a huge fan of Red Dead Redemption, but that's still a pretty huge deal, especially if you keep remastering more games and adding them to this service. That is a massive value proposition for the Xbox One, and I think it's important to mention that. Now, Sorry, I had to take a breather there. I've been speaking so fast. Now, let's talk about the games themselves, the games that they have shown. Now, they've shown a whole bunch of third-party stuff. Not everything interests me, so I'm sorry if I'm going to go through some of these extremely briefly, but that's just the way it is. Anyway, Battlefield 5, that is something that they've shown. It's not like it's going to have any specific exclusivity towards Xbox. It supposedly just plays better on Xbox One X. Battlefield 5, I already talked about it in Electronic Arts. I'll be checking it out when it comes out, but I'm not super mega hyper excited. I am curious about what the monetization scheme is going to be, since they are not going to be doing loot boxes. Then we got Black Desert. Now, I'm not sure if at some point Black Desert Online rebranded itself into just Black Desert. I was surprised. I expected it to be Black Desert Online. But anyway, Black Desert is the MMORPG that you guys have seen on the PC that is going to be coming to the Xbox One. If you're into that, then good on you. You can go and you can play it on your Xbox now, which in my opinion is actually a good thing. Because, I just personally prefer to play most games on consoles. It's a personal thing. So having that, if I was invested in the Xbox ecosystem, having that option is pretty cool. Then we got Crackdown 3. Crackdown 3 actually got delayed to February 2019, which was, it had been rumored that was going to be the case. This was their confirmation. It's like, look, I like Terry Crews as much as the next guy, but this game looked dated last year. Looks dated now. Is probably going to look even more dated by 2019. What are you doing, Microsoft? This game better be like the best damn game that ever came out by the time it releases, because I think it's going to be a little bit ridiculous. I don't think this is a major selling point for your Xbox One. And also, please don't bring in the fucking cloud computing from the cloud. No, fuck that shit. No, just forget about it. Just seriously make it run off of the Xbox and forget about cloud computing, whatever. Moving on, we had some DLC for Cuphead. Cuphead is a fantastic game. I didn't really play it all that much, to be honest, but all of the reviews and everyone that's played it loves the game. So therefore, having DLC for that is awesome. Cyberpunk 2077, the only reason I'm not going to be talking too much about it on this video is because I plan on doing a separate video just for Cyberpunk 2077, being able to showcase it on their press conference. Good on you, Microsoft. Good stuff. Cyberpunk 2077. I'm super hyped, but this is not an exclusive. This is going to be about both PC as well as PS4. So pretty cool. I love the game, but it doesn't really give me anything in regards to Microsoft itself, so to speak. Devil May Cry 5, another multi-platform game, which was debuted at the Microsoft press conference. This is also going to be coming to the PlayStation 4 as well as PC. Here's the thing. I really loved the reboot of Devil May Cry. I know a lot of people don't like that game. Please don't kill me because of that. I liked the reboot of Devil May Cry. There were a couple of things in Devil May Cry 4 that I was not a huge fan of. Like the whole thing where you go up into the game until you get to that statue, and then it's like, oh, you play the game like Nero up until this point, now play as Dante and do it backwards. And I was just like, whatever. So here's the thing. I want to play Devil May Cry 5. I just don't want it to be like fucking 200 different cryptic combos that you have to master in order to play the game. That's, or maybe Devil May Cry 5 may just not be for me, but it's like, I hate to say a more simplified combat system, but I do want a combat system that I don't have to take like a master's degree in order to be good at the game. I'm not saying that you shouldn't have to invest some time. You should have to invest some time into mastering a game's combat system, but that time should be invested by actually playing the game instead of trying to memorize 200 different combos. I'm going to get some hate over that. I realize that, but it's like, look, I'm still going to play it. I'm still going to check it out. For sure, I'm definitely hyped about it. But again, not really a Microsoft exclusive in any way. Now we got Dying Light 2. So I played quite a bit of Dying Light 1. I enjoyed it. I didn't get too deep into it, but I might go back and play it again because Dying Light 2, I'm super excited to check out. Looks good, friggin' fantastic. But again, not really a Microsoft exclusive. Fallout 76 was announced, and I'm not going to be talking too much about this one because I want to do a separate video talking about Fallout 76 because I've never been a huge Fallout fan. I've never really delved too deep into the Fallout franchise, but Fallout 76 might just be the first one. I might actually have to play Fallout 4 because Like Fallout 76, I'm sold. I'm sold on what I've seen, but from the Bethesda press conference, not the Microsoft one. So I don't want to go too deep in here. We will probably have a dedicated Fallout 76 video, but looks great. And another thing they've announced is that Fallout 4 was added to the Xbox Games Pass. Again, bringing more value to that particular service, which is good. It's good for Microsoft to do that. Forza Horizon 4, I love Forza Horizon 3. It was one of the few games that I played on my Xbox One. Forza Horizon 4 looks fantastic, more multiplayer focused. Looked pretty hectic though. I'm curious to see what the options are going to be. I'm pretty sure you'll be able to play it solo if you want to, and you only go into multiplayer if that is something that you want to do, because it looked pretty friggin' hectic if you just wanted to race around, you know? But it is an interesting concept. I love the fact that they did on the previous one, the campaign be playable in 4-player co-op. I thought that was really cool. And I expect to see more multiplayer innovation from Forza Horizon 4, so that is good. Then we had Gears 5. Gears 5 looks great. Gears 4, I really enjoyed playing it. I did a full playthrough of that back in my Squadron days with Warrack. So Gears 4 was awesome, and Gears 5 looks great. The main character is a female this time around, and is like, look, so long as that is the artist's vision, that's perfectly fine. I'm not going to be like, oh, I wish I had a male character. It's like, it doesn't make a difference to me. What makes a difference to me is whether or not it is going to make sense. Like, if you built this story for a female character and that is your artistic vision, good on you. That's pretty friggin' awesome. It's just, I just don't want the SJW shit creeping into this. Then there was the Gears Pop game. Not really going to talk a whole lot about that. It's basically a Pop commercial, Pop Funko Pop figures commercial. Then there's Gears Tactics, and the interesting thing about Gears Tactics is that this is not going to be on Xbox One. This is a game that is only going to be on PC. It is a Windows 10 exclusive. Not only that, but it is also weird how they said that this is the first game to be specifically designed for PC gamers. Does that mean that PC gamers only like tactics games? PC gamers can't like shooters? I don't know. That statement felt extremely weird to me. But anyway, then there's the Halo Infinite, which I already mentioned. Jump Force. Now, Jump Force, when I first saw the first couple of footage of the trailer, I really wanted it to be like some kind of weird crossover RPG. Now, this is a game that brings in characters from Dragon Ball, One Piece, and Naruto. I'm not sure if there will be more franchises added. Most likely there will. It's just in the first trailer. Those are the three franchises that are being shown. And I really wanted it to be some kind of like weird RPG crossover thing. You know, that's what I wanted that game to be. Unfortunately, that is not the case. It is a fighter. It is an arena fighter in 3D. I mean, the footage looked fine, but at the same time, looking at the gameplay, a couple of things seemed a little bit off. I can't really put my finger on it, but, you know, it seemed a little bit weird. But I will definitely be checking that game out because I'm curious about it. I'm curious to see how they actually do the whole crossover thing. But, yeah, we'll see. It also seems like there's some kind of, tag team mechanics. You'll have like 3 characters and you'll be able to swap between them. So we'll see how that works out. But, you know, Jump Force, can't say that I'm super hyped about it, but I am curious of checking it out. Now we saw Just Cause 4, which made me realize that I currently have Just Cause 3 installed on my PS4 and I still haven't played it. And I should probably do that because considering I'm someone who loves explosions, this is like the open world game for explosions and I still haven't played it. So it's high time I do it, but it looked amazing. Later, we also saw some of that stuff in the Square Enix presentation. Some of the new features and stuff looked really, really cool. So this is a game that I'm very excited about. Then we had Kingdom Hearts 3 and the fact that it is coming to the Xbox One again. This is a really good thing, in my personal opinion. I know that a lot of people are going to be like, oh, they're stealing the franchise from the PS4. No, let more people experience good games. This is a good thing. Like, I wish everyone could play every game. And Kingdom Hearts 3 looks like it's going to be a fantastic game. It's not really for me because I wasn't able to get too deep into the lore and probably requires way more time investment than I currently have. Kingdom Hearts 3 is probably going to be something that if I do check it out, it will be many years into the future. But for everyone that's excited about Kingdom Hearts 3, it's also coming to the Xbox One, and that is a major win. Good job. Then we had Metro Exodus. Now, again, this is one of those games that I've never really gotten into because of the limited resources that you had in previous Metro games. It's a bit of a turnoff for me if the resources that I have access to are extremely limited. But people are telling me that this one is different, so I don't know. Maybe I will check it out. I haven't really made up my mind on it yet, but one thing's for sure. If you're into Metro, the game looks amazing. Animations look great. The story seems like it's going to be pretty fantastic. The weapons and the way that the weapons look and how they mount on each other, and just like everything about this game has me excited and curious, but I still don't know if this is a game for me. You guys know I'm more into RPGs and that kind of stuff than necessarily shooters, so yeah. Then they showed Nier Automata Become as Gods Edition. Nier Automata is a fucking fantastic game, and the fact that it is coming to Xbox One makes me happy. And you want to know why? Because when a game is that good, I just want it to be accessible to as many people as possible. So if you own an Xbox and you've never played Nier Automata and you're curious about it, even if you're not curious about it, here's what I can tell you. Buy it the second it releases and play it, and you can thank me later. It is that good. I can just instantly tell you, you can buy it, you can play it, you'll enjoy it. It's a fucking fantastic video game. And if you don't enjoy Nier Automata, maybe you don't enjoy video games at all. That's what I'm going to tell you, just like straight up. If you don't enjoy a video game like Nier Automata, maybe you don't like video games. Like that's how I feel about Nier Automata. I love that fucking game. One of the best games to ever come out. That game is awesome. Everyone should play it. The fact that it is coming to the Xbox One makes me very happy. Ori and Will of the Wisps. Never played the first one, but I did buy it. I bought it for Xbox. I think I also own it on GOG, and I haven't gotten around to playing it yet, but good God, this trailer looks so good. It looks so friggin' good what they've shown, the gameplay. It just looks like a really fun game, and it is a game that I'm more and more curious about playing. That one is one of the few that I will probably be checking out, at least the first one, hopefully ahead of time for the release of this one. This one is going to be releasing in 2019, so I still have some time for that, luckily. Then they showed some PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, which is, you know, I'm not really into PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds or the whole Battle Royale scene, so this is not really for me. I'm not going to pretend that it is, so whatever. Then we got some Sea of Thieves, more content being added to Sea of Thieves now. I've always seen Sea of Thieves as kind of like this sandbox game, which it is, but a lot of people complain that there was not that much content in it, which is why I never really took the dip myself. Having heard about these new expansions that are being added, I'm very curious about you. If you happen to have played Sea of Thieves, are you excited about these expansions? Are you not excited about these expansions? Let me know in the comment section below. I'm very curious for hearing from people that have played Sea of Thieves before. And we got Sekiro Shadows Die Twice. So we already did a video on that. I'll try to put like an annotation somewhere here or here. I don't know. So that you guys can go watch that video if you haven't watched it yet. If you just go onto the channel, it's one of the latest videos that I've done. Should be fairly easy to find. It is a fantastic friggin' video game. It's got nothing but good things to say from what I've seen. So, I mean, I'm saying it's a fantastic video game. It was a fantastic gameplay showcase. Let's put it like that. But, you know, it's the next From Software game. So naturally, I'm super hyped about it. The hype meter just like exploded into the stratosphere. The one bad thing about it, and the one thing that, you know, has me a little bit hesitant, is the fact that Activision are the ones publishing it. But I talked at length about this game, so you guys can go watch the other video if you're more curious about it. We got Session, which is a skate game. I'm not particularly into skate games. I played Tony Hawk 2 back in the day. I think most of us did. That was a whole lot of fun, but ever since then, I never really touched the skate game again. So I'm like, whatever. If you like skate games, Session looks like it's going to be all right. Shadow of the Tomb Raider. I still haven't finished Rise of the Tomb Raider. Might have to get to that at some point. Shadow of the Tomb Raider looks a whole lot of fun, though, from what they've shown at the Square Enix press conference, which I've seen at this point. I will talk more about it there. But yeah, looks like a whole lot of fun. But what they've shown at Microsoft press conference is just like, it was pretty basic. They didn't show all that much, but they did show that Shadow of the Tomb Raider is coming. Tales of Vesperia Definitive Edition. I've been told by a good friend of mine that this is the best Tales of game ever made. I love Tales of games, so a nice remaster. Good stuff. The Awesome Adventures of Captain Spirit. This is, again, it's a Square Enix game. This is by Don't Not Entertainment. These are the same people that did Life is Strange, which this is actually something that I'm curious about because, I mean, these are the guys that also did Vampire, which is a game that I'm currently going through. And Vampire has a couple of issues that leads me to understand that their studio is not particularly big. And it's like, well, if your studio is not particularly big, how are you working on this and Twin Mirrors and hopefully still patching Vampire? And I mean, I don't know. It's like, aren't you overreaching a little bit there? Don't Not Entertainment? I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but this game looks like it's a whole lot of fun, and most importantly, it's going to be free, so anyone can just pick this up on the 26th of June. I think it's going to be like something that they're going to use to potentially market their next game, is Life is Strange 2. Again, Life is Strange is not something that I follow all that much, but it is, how should I put this? It is a pretty creative-looking game. That's for sure. Should I talk about this? Tom Clancy's The Division 2 is like, I'm very curious to check out The Division 2. I'm curious to see how much they've learned from the previous Division game. Problem is, when it comes to presentation, they haven't really learned a whole lot because we all said, look, Ubisoft, don't do this fucking stage chatter between players. That's dumb. We all know what you're doing, and it's stupid, and it looks stupid, and this year looked even worse than the last time they did it. So please stop doing these dumb presentations where the players are like having these conversations. Like, nobody actually talks like that in multiplayer, okay? Just nobody talks like that. I'm sorry. We don't go like, oh yeah, I'm going to be like super tactical about this and do this way and do that. Nobody talks like that. Forget about it, okay? The gameplay looked all right. It didn't look that different from the original Division, which is my main complaint about it. The only thing that really changes is the setting. This time it's in D.C., Washington. But, you know, it's one of those games that it kind of falls in line with the type of stuff that I like. It's got shooter elements, but it's also got a lot of looting elements, RPG elements, builds and stuff. I didn't really delve as deep as I would have liked in the original Division. I finished the game, and I played quite a bit. But I never really did a deep dive like I did for Monster Hunter World or something like that. I'm curious to see if the Division 2 could be something that I could do that deep dive in, but it remains to be seen. We'll have to check out the actual final game. But it's like the game itself looks good. It's just the way in which it was presented was, in my opinion, really bad. So I'm still interested, but I wish you hadn't done the presentation the way that you did. Then we had Tunic. Tunic looks real good. Looks like this Zelda-inspired game, which is an isometric game. It almost looks like it's going to be procedurally generated. I haven't done a whole lot of research on it just yet because there's a lot of other games that currently hold my interest much more so than Tunic. But Tunic looked awesome. I was very, very curious to check out more about Tunic. There was also like this showcase where they showed a bunch of indie titles, but I can't really find references as to what all of those indie titles were. I'd have to like go through the video and try to like pause whenever they show a piece of each of those. I wish they would have made that a little bit more accessible so that I could incorporate those into my presentation. But anyways, like I said, I am playing a little bit of catch up here. Then finally, they showed a little bit of We Happy Few. Like I said, this is not a game for me. And I understand that throughout this presentation, that is something that you guys have heard a whole bunch of times. That's because Microsoft really packed a lot of games into their presentation. And I'm not going to sit here and start talking about, oh, I really like this game. And because it's like, look, there's a lot of games that I'm just not interested in. And that is fine. I still just wanted to tell you guys that those games are going to be coming out for the Xbox One. So it's whatever. In regards to this particular presentation, like I said, mostly it was pretty positive, with the exception of that thing where he was talking about how we're already working on the next box, which I thought was kind of weird considering that you just asked people to put down a significant chunk of change on the Xbox One X and then you're going like, oh yeah, we're working on the next one already. And it's like, well, I mean, I get it. You're going to have to compete with the PlayStation 5, but Jesus, don't say it the very next year after people have bought your console. Don't tell them you're already working on another one, specifically because people paid premium price for that. That was, in my opinion, not a very good move. But then again, some people are like always about the friggin' console wars, so maybe they had to do it. I don't know. How do you feel about it? If you've bought an Xbox One X, how do you feel about that? I'm very curious to know. Other than that, that's pretty much it. There was a lot of positive stuff that Microsoft has actually done. I'm not going to give them a hard time over anything else that I've already talked about in this video. So yeah, thank you guys very much for watching. If you enjoy these videos, remember, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell icon so that you guys are notified whenever a new one of these videos comes up. If you guys want to watch these press conferences live with me, then go to twitch.tv/Rurikhan. I will be watching all of them with you guys and hanging out with the Iron Breakers at large. By this point in the video, we will no doubt have the end slate coming up with 2 video suggestions that you guys can go and watch. You can watch one of those. Otherwise, once again, thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for your support, and I will see you in the next one.